In tonight's episode of Real Housewives of Orange County, Megan's ovaries were talking, but now it's our turn. It's the Real Housewives of Orange County. Season 11, Episode 4, Frozen Assets coming at you right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers, featuring Brittany
Yes.
and G-Eazy.
Yes, we do. Feature Brittany.
We're loving the new Britney song just as much as we're liking this season of OC, but we'll see what we're all thinking coming up in this episode. We're talking about tonight's episode, and I'm your host, Grant Rutter, and sitting next to me...
Hello, everybody. My name is Christy Olson. You guys can always hit me up letting me know what you think about Brittany, Tina, RHOC, at Christy Reports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Thomas Rulina. You can find me at Thomas Rulina on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook.
And I am Blake V, in a very similar color palette to my panelist, Christy. And you can find me on Instagram, all of it. I just drew a blank. It's because it's everywhere. Blake V Media. Just all of it.
I'm following you, girl.
All of it. Blake V Media.
Blake, we're glad to have you back. We all missed you last week.
It's been like 100 years, and I've missed you all.
She was on a goddess retreat, y'all. No big deal.
I know, looked amazing.
Good for you. Well, let's talk about some goddesses of our own.
Yes.
These fools. Now, let's talk about the Housewives. We're picking up at we're picking up at the beach party. Kelly's house, the backyard is a beach, or a public beach.
Let me just say, I appreciate that she calls that her backyard, because now I'm going to call that my backyard.
Yes.
There you go.
Come, everyone, to my backyard. We'll meet on...
Malibu's not that far.
I love it. So let's share our impressions of Kelly's house. We saw a little bit more of it. It's a lot of white. It's a little old and new. There's a bar everywhere. What do you think of it?
Wonderful.
Yeah, you know, normally I'm into all this modern, but it was almost too white for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that whole shiny vinyl business that she's got going on. Of course, it's going to be beautiful. I mean, come on. Not to say I wouldn't live there if I had the chance.
Right.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I will say that traditionally, I that type of house also would not be for me decor-wise on the inside, but I'm going through a very white phase right now in terms of decor, and
we don't want to hear about your political views, Blake.
No, it might come out, but this one specific, I'm all on Instagram looking at white and black
Blake, I'm with you.
interiors, you know what I mean?
I love
clean.
black and white marble,
Yes.
clean lines. Yes,
So
absolutely.
I'm kind of feeling it. I'm okay with it.
Yes.
It's very boxy. I'm getting just everything sandwiched into each other with her
Yeah.
house. It's not. There's not that space that you have. I mean, we haven't seen the front yard. It just looks like a straight box.
Yeah. Well, and that's how a lot of beachfront property is too.
It's amazing though.
Especially here on the West Coast, is you have these really long, skinny, little sandwich box kind of houses.
A lot of rails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yes, the front yard or the backyard, as Kelly puts it, is the ocean, but there's no side yard. There's no space. You could reach out of the window and touch your neighbor. It's these
it's
long
the full lot.
Yeah. So I have a feeling her house might be one of those too.
Right.
That closet
Well,
space.
Kelly, we'll take that any day. And she can have us over to experience this mansion firsthand anytime she likes.
Yes,
Hey,
please.
Kelly.
It reminded me of the old Disneyland House for the Future. Do you remember that? It was all white. I just kept looking, and then she kept get caught to the stove, and the stove looked like it was from a different time.
Yeah.
But yet it was very nice. The one thing about white, though, and I will say, if it gets dirty or even a little bit used or worn, it can make something look very cheap very fast. So that's the only thing. You have to keep up with all that stuff, For a minute, I was like, wait, is this the light fixture? I thought I saw that from IKEA, but it's not. But I was like, because they have a lot of that white stuff. You know?
She's gasping right now. IKEA.
I really did. And I
What
saw
is that?
I saw another clip of it, and I was like, no, that's not it. But I was like, Kelly, what are you doing?
IKEA is the version that we would get.
Yes.
We'll get the knockoff at IKEA.
Even I told myself, I was like, no more of that. I've closed the door on it myself because I just can't. You recognize it when you go to play. You know exactly what it is and who has it and what color.
You have to look really hard at the furniture and make sure it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's very
it's like
true.
going to H&M too. You have to look very deep to find that piece
That's
that
what I do
nobody's
at
gonna
Zara.
have.
That's what I do at Zara. I'll go on the wall where they have two of the shirts, and it's please we have one in a small, and that's what I'll do. But yeah. All right, let's talk about Vicki, and she was extremely awkward through this whole party.
Yeah.
And once they got into the house, she gives Shannon a hug and says that Shannon's cold as ice. Shannon really doesn't want it to be bothered at all. And then so Vicki starts talking, and they cut to Shannon. She just looks at her like Shannon could not be any less interested or involved. She's not even in the room. She doesn't care about this conversation.
She referred to it as hugging a corpse, so that's kind of gives you the tone of how that went.
Yeah, and you know what? Major props to Shannon for not feeling like she has to kiss up to Vicki
Yeah.
or just make amends just for the sake of the show. I mean, she is standing her ground. And I don't think we've ever seen people really do that up to Vicki before. Now Tamra's doing it, Shannon's doing it. It's like finally, after 11 seasons, these ladies have finally had enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like when they like that she's an older woman too, where she's not like Megan, who we'll get to in a minute with the millennial comment,
Right.
you know, who gets bent out of shape. But things, Shannon is just like she's
She's a stronger person this season for sure.
She doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Well, I, on the other hand, think that she was actually very aggressive to Vicki and very mean to Vicki. And I think that because Vicki was right by Shannon's side during her whole cheating scandal in her marriage and her life. And now with the drama that Vicki's having, she's like, get out of my presence. You peasant, you.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. It's like Vicki was there for her when she needed her, and now no matter what happened, at least she could hear her out. Like what she did wasn't even to Shannon, really. You know, Shannon was sort of caught up in the whirlwind of it all. So like I don't think she needed to treat Vicki quite that mean.
But I think Shannon does feel like it was to her. You know, when her and her husband are going out to dinner with them and kind of siding with Vicki and Brooks at the time and asking them, well, what about the appointments and is he okay? Whether she should feel that way or not, I think Shannon does think Vicki did something to her.
Yeah.
You know?
I do agree with that. I think she certainly has taken it very personal.
Well, Vicki goes on to say, "Well, I'll never know the truth. We'll never know the truth." And I don't know. I think the truth is.
Yeah, we know the truth.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know how she can keep. She just doesn't. I don't know.
She's definitely not gonna admit to anything. So I think that's pretty much it.
She's taking a very interesting approach to this whole thing, Vicki. Like, I just really thought that she would come into this a little more headstrong in terms of like, this happened, it is what it is, I'm very sorry, let's move on. And it like hasn't been that way. She's like crying and kind of wishy-washy and like sort of still defending Brooks and kind like.
Yeah.
I don't think she's completely over what happened with Brooks. So I feel like it's just that lingering feeling when you're with somebody for so long and you really, you know, you're still kind of trapped back there. And they just, I'm sure, just started rolling this season. So she's just like, I'm not over it yet. Now I have to be
she's
on
fresh
camera and
from
act
it.
like it's new.
Right. And one of the first and only things that she said about Brooks was that he has moved on to the next girl. That's not closure talk. That's jealous that he moved on to the next girl talk. I mean, she's clearly hurting in many different ways over the demise of her relationship with him.
Yeah.
She is, and one of the saddest things I thought was that, okay, so now she doesn't have Brooks. Everybody ran Brooks off.
Yeah.
Now, so she's alone, right? And then now she moved the daughter back because she thought she'd have Briana to pal around with and hang out with the kids and everything. Now Briana's sick, poor Briana. And then now Vicki's with the kids, and now she's just like, my life is so different than I thought it was going. It's like everyone else has their things going on, and now she's inherited these children that she's now taking care of, and everyone ran Brooks off, and she's got no one, and it's like
The good thing is she's distracted.
She's
so
very-
she has a lot going on. But yeah.
Yeah, but she was always the one who wanted her love tank filled, and you know, she kind of yearns for that companionship. I think maybe more than the other ladies even do who have it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, Shannon and Vicki had a back and forth on who called who disgusting and vile, and then Shannon basically said, like, they both, even Vicki even repeated it back to her, like, there's nothing I can do, huh? And they agreed there's nothing they can do to move on. We thought that was it until Megan had to use her in vitro or whatever she's doing, the shots, and then Vicki just walks into the room and goes, I want my friends back. It's like, I thought we were done with this. Like, we switched gears, like the storylines were different, and then so she was still moping around the house.
She like went to the 4th floor and was just like, where did everybody go? She gave you that impression, like, where did everybody go? Everybody just left me downstairs at the first bar.
Is someone else somewhere getting attention, being the center of the conversation? What is going on here?
Oh my
So
gosh.
she wants her friends back, and then Megan says, "Well, Vicki, we never were friends." And
Yeah.
I like
Which is
that
fair.
True
I
that.
mean,
True that.
yeah.
movie. Yeah. And
She
then
should have
so-
just been like, except for you. I want everybody else but you.
Well, Vicki
and
was so
pointed.
upset. She was so upset she left, so that was it for that. She was out of there.
She ran off in true Vicki fleeing fashion. when
Yep,
she
in
couldn't get away.
tears in the car. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would love to see Vicki happy just for like a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I remember her really being like happy, besides the early Brooks days, was when Dawn was around. And I know that she claims that she wasn't very happy in that marriage, but I don't know. For TV wise, the energy was different.
Yeah.
And she has acknowledged that maybe she should have given that a little bit more of a hard try. So
Yeah.
maybe she thinks that as well.
Right. Well, Megan, we learn again. Megan's ovaries are talking. Everything's getting ready to take the baby.
Do you hear them, guys?
I was like, what?
What are they saying to you?
What? What's she talking about?
And then they go, her and her husband go and pick up the sperm, and Jim doesn't really care to follow her schedule whatsoever. She's explaining,
new?
my mom's coming to town, and then I'm doing this, and then I go back, and 2 days later, we do this. And he's like, do you expect me to follow this? Like, that's the response of the new child that's coming into your life.
I don't know which marriage is a little bit more awkward, her relationship with Jim or Kelly's relationship with her husband. Those two is just such a toss-up.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see the husbands engaging.
And with Megan and Jim, we've suspected before that maybe he's just a victim of bad editing. But in this situation, he definitely had to have said, like, you expect me to follow all this? And we had them here last season, and we saw a very different dynamic between the two of them live in studio. But man, does he just really not look good.
Yeah, he just does not come across
Sorry,
well.
Jim. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he just seems so disinterested with everything.
Yeah.
And especially now that a child may be coming along, like at this point in the storyline, he's just like, meh.
And you have to know that Megan feels that and she knows that it's playing out in camera, but at the same time, she just wants to have a baby. I feel like.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Watch those two be the ones that are together forever and ever.
Hopefully.
After everything we've seen and
The
said,
30th
watch those two be
anniversary.
the ones that stick it out. Yeah.
The one thing I always say, though, it's one thing to think about editing and how things are cut, but also you have to look at the end. At the end of the day, the words are coming out of these people's mouths. I mean, he really is saying whatever he's saying, and maybe we're cutting around certain things, but those are his real responses.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not like we're reading text and like Jim colon blah blah. No, we're seeing it. So I don't know.
And it's so funny because even when we had them in studio last season, he said that the cameras came in and the instructions were just live your life. Live your life as if we're not here and we're just going to capture everything candidly. Well, seeing how that was for the first season that they were involved, I swear for the second season, if I were Jim, I'd pretend that my regular self was a lot more peppy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amp it up just a little bit. Care just a little
He
bit.
probably didn't even watch the season.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure you're right.
I'm not gonna watch the playback. I don't even care. I'm just gonna really be me.
I know I lost.
Can we talk for a second about how weird that contraption was?
Yeah.
The
That was a lot.
cryo freezer thing, and that they had to transport from one doctor to another themselves?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
like how much money do you have? Plenty.
Yeah.
Why are we transporting the sperm in our own SUV?
Yes,
I'm just saying.
Or how much are you paying for this procedure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that you don't have some sort of truck, a refrigerated
A sperm
vehicle
truck, if you
that
will.
goes between hospice
Right.
facilities. Like,
Yeah.
you got to drive your
agree.
thing to your own fertilizer? Come on.
Oh Lord. Well, someone who is spending money is Heather. We're still learning about the house. She's saying this episode they were supposed to move in May. What's the latest? I think in this house.
About like last week, I saw on Instagram or Twitter somewhere where she said, 3 more days, and made it sound like they really are moving in. She has been Instagramming some photos of finished, furnished rooms, like the
great.
living room and
Nice.
such. So
Okay.
if
Well,
they're
that's-
not there today, they're very soon for sure.
Okay.
Good. It's been 10 years.
And probably 10 million. Oh no, more than that, right?
Oh,
yeah,
more.
tens of millions
Probably
of dollars.
I think the lot was $10 million, something like that.
You know, it's very interesting because the palatial estate that they lived in before, which I think was in Dana Point, they both said that they received an offer they couldn't refuse. Someone came and bought that house from them, and essentially selling it and building their own house, they would make money off the deal. I wonder how true that is now.
At this point,
At
yeah.
this point, like, it's got to be a wash. They've spent so
Yeah.
much money on this new house.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I want to have Heather problems.
I do too.
The biggest problems are the problems we're seeing on TV. I want to be Heather so bad.
I do too.
And just the fact that for some reason we don't hate her, or I
don't
at
hate her
least
at all.
overall, that's like,
I love
she's just
her.
she's just so darn lovable.
I thought
And
about
she's a great mom.
I thought about
Yeah.
this. I was like, why can I take all this and not hate her? I
Yes.
thought about it.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's because she doesn't sit around and bitch and complain. Like,
Yeah.
she'll talk about Terry works a lot, and the house has gone on for so long, and we need to move in. But it's not to the point where it's like, whining. I feel
Yeah.
like that would be really, really annoying. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let us know. Leave us a comment below what you think of Heather, and if you're for her or against her, because
And why.
Yeah, and why? I'm curious. 'Cause especially, she's done a lot of showboating, but yet we don't hate her.
Me personally, I think it's because she's rather neutral in her position with the ladies, and I feel like she really doesn't lend herself to be on any one side of like potential hatred.
She's eloquent, too.
She's very
Yeah.
eloquent, and she sort of like knows how to navigate these OC waters now. So like, because if she had a really, like if it were Kelly, for example, she's got a really outspoken personality. She puts herself in that position to
Yeah.
have a little more judgment or
Yeah.
hate or whatever.
And be
But
more
Heather-
sidey.
Exactly. But Heather really doesn't do that. So I think that is really a lot in her favor too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Switzerland really rich? Is she
Yes.
exactly okay? So
Yes.
she is Switzerland.
Yes.
She is rich and neutral.
Yes.
Heather is Switzerland.
And we love her.
Yes. We want to come skiing.
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
So let's switch gears to talk about Brianna's health scare, and she was rushed to the hospital, and a very interesting turn of events that Ryan's girlfriend, the baby's mother, it was at the gas station.
She's wearing the ring again, but on the wrong finger, so she's not. The
Yeah, I don't know how to
fiancé.
define
I
her.
don't understand any of this.
Yeah, so she was at the gas station
so
when Brianna was
weird.
rushed to the hospital. She couldn't breathe. She had inflamed lymph nodes that were pressing on her lungs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
And poor Brianna, like
Yeah.
we've seen her nothing but struggle this whole storyline so far.
really struggle.
I mean that.
She looked like she was in severe pain.
So much
Those shots.
pain.
Yeah.
And she's just like in bad shape too, she just seems like just overall she's gained more weight, she's in bad health, her husband's not there to help, she's got these small kids, it's just like a lot of
lot.
struggle.
She cried, and I don't blame her. She's crying a lot because, of course, when you're under all that. But yeah, she needs some, hopefully that. Hopefully
TLC.
Yeah.
Hopefully by now things are on the up and up. But I have not been able to find anything about her health. Have you been able to find anything pertaining to her health?
No, Vicki keeps kind of defending herself in that realm on Twitter and stuff, and the backlash that she's gotten. But no real updates on Brianna and how she's doing currently. But this is another situation where we watch Vicki going through a thing. Last season it was getting the phone call that her mother passed away, and now again we're seeing her deal with a family member's medical ailments. It's, I mean, again, a little bit of that sympathy card for Vicki.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, these
And
things
she
do keep
deserves it in
happening.
this situation. Yeah.
Well, Tamra says that by having Sarah at the gas station, that was no coincidence. She's looking at it as an intervening from God. And she then has a conversation with Sarah one-on-one about the venting, which we agree should not be happening, with Sarah venting about Ryan and Ryan venting Sarah with Tamra in the middle. But Tamra still says, well, he's my son, I'm going to be involved.
I feel like she's never gonna change in that spectrum. Like, she's very motherly. She's, Eddie is her husband, but at the end of the day, you know how our moms are. They're they're always gonna come to our defense. So I see Tamra just being Tamra. Right.
Yeah, and it sounds like she really has her sights set in the right place. And she's talking about Ava.
Yeah.
And that seems like it's everyone's attention is on Ava. Even Sarah was saying, and Ryan as well. They want to make a good family nuclear situation for this little girl to grow up in.
Yeah.
Whether what happens between Sarah and Ryan happens or not.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to have their focus in the right place.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because it could be a lot uglier. Tamra could be doing nothing, I guess, and then that by default would make it worse. So it's good to see them all trying so hard, at least for Ava. That's nice. But what was so strange is if Tamra got the news about Brianna going to the hospital or needing the ambulance, why the first person she called was Sarah? Why did that happen? That was so strange to me.
Tamra kind of explained a little bit online in this last week, and she was saying that Sarah was literally at the gas station filling up her tank when Vicki and Briana pulled in and had that ambulance come. Like, they really claim that this was all just completely coincidental. Sarah happened to be there, and Tamra continues to give the credit to God and Jesus, and just the fact that Sarah was there in the right place at the right
That's
time.
awesome.
It's very interesting.
But for Tamra to reach out to her, as we were led to believe, you know, I feel like maybe that was an intervening through production, because that's the one common denominator
because she said
that we're
she
not
called,
supposed to talk about.
And she called Sarah sort of for some reason. I'm sure it wasn't to say, like, I just got a call that Briana is going to the hospital, because why would Sarah care? Not that she wouldn't care, but why would that be the first phone call, you know?
Yeah.
And
Were they
so
filming
then,
her? Were they filming Sarah at all, you think?
I don't think so.
Like, just to have, no? I don't know.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe Sarah just saw them there and texted Tamra, was like, oh my God, Vicki and Briana are at the gas station. Oh, wait a minute, there's an ambulance coming. And Tamra went, wait, I need to figure out what's going on. I'm going to call Vicki. Do you think? Maybe that's what went down?
We're onto something that's making more sense.
Speculation, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
We have to get to the bottom of this. I'm like, why Sarah? I don't.
Yeah, there's something lacking in this. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's close. Thank you, Christy.
Yeah.
Christy's getting us on our way to clarity here.
Well, Megan and Kelly sat down. I can never remember her name for some reason, but they sat down and had a conversation. Megan advised Kelly to stay away from the whole Vicky situation, but that girl wants her camera time.
I'm living for that whole scene. I don't know. It's just so relatable when you have a friend and you introduce them to your friends and you're like putting them out there, and then they get closer to somebody. It's just always that feeling that we're watching play out, and I'm really curious to see how, you know, what side Kelly ends up choosing, because it looks like she's Team Vicky, and you know, it's just gonna get ugly.
She's the only one on Team Vicky.
Yeah. Well, Kelly says that, you know, Megan, she's just thinking that the world revolves around her at all times, and she throws the millennial slap on Megan, and it's like, well, I don't know. But
doesn't the world revolve around us all the time? And I don't even meet that threshold. I'm past the millennial. I think
so
by like
funny.
a year, guys.
I think
by
Megan
like a
is
year.
too. Like, I don't think
I think so too, to be honest with you.
millennial.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Megan, like, I'm thinking about her behavior last season. You know, it was, you know, a little self-centered in certain ways, but that's okay. That's what she is. I mean, I don't know. There are other ladies in these franchises who are definitely not millennials who love to talk about themselves across many cities.
I just find it very interesting that she's gonna blast her like that and say, you know, the world doesn't revolve around you. I'm like, isn't that your girl?
Right?
Like,
Did she bring you into this?
Yeah, isn't
That's
that your
what
girl?
I felt.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah. She very quickly
She's good
blasted
for the show.
her, and that was interesting. Also, like, Megan's behavior has nothing to do with her age. Like, I feel like I don't know why that keeps getting brought up, because it really has nothing to do with her age.
This 30-year-old.
Yeah. Like, her behavior last season had to do with her not having a job.
Yeah.
And too much time on her hands.
And dealing with someone else who was actually dying of cancer.
Yes.
When Vicki and Brooks were trying to sell their
Yes.
fake cancer business.
Yes to all of this. So she had, like, the time to, like, investigate and play detective and do all of this and get to the bottom of it. So 20 or 100 equally
We're all housewives.
could have come up with the same information.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to give it another week, but I'm a little, before I completely write Megan off for this season, but I'm a little disappointed in her and the story we're getting. I mean, you know, that's what's going on in her life. I'm happy for her. I'm very glad that she is pregnant. But with regards to the story, she just gave us a lot last year, and this year we're not getting much.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
want some
it's
more
coming.
stirring? Yeah? Is that what it is?
I hope it's coming, but I don't see anything that's
too busy.
indicative of
Do we think
that.
she was drinking the champagne that Kelly brought? Or that she had?
Oh.
Because she's on this IVF medication. She's not pregnant yet, but I wonder if the alcohol inhibits anything. Like,
I saw her carry some Perrier though. She was holding,
okay.
So I don't know if that was just to take the edge off, or I don't know what they were doing.
just for
but-
cover.
Yeah.
She had, like, the glass of champagne on the table and then, like, the Perrier.
I
A little sip
imagine,
underneath the table.
I imagine that she would just totally stay away from it, just in case. You
Right,
know?
just for health
Yeah.
purposes, you've got to
Yeah.
be like optimum health for this stuff to take.
Yeah, and being on those hormones is no joke. You know, like we're all reality TV fans. If you watch Juliana and Bill, that episode where she was first trying to do them and she had to be rushed to the emergency room in the middle of the night. Like that stuff, they're not
It's
kidding around with
very
that.
rough. Yeah.
Wow.
It's some intense stuff.
Yeah.
We make fun of it, but
Yeah. No.
And I mean, truth be
intense.
told, we probably will continue to. Sorry, Meg.
Well, Shannon Bedore is planning a 70s themed party. We flash back to other parties she had that weren't that fun. But
Okay,
this-
And that weren't so groovy.
I know, and like Shannon, I feel like she's like getting her groove back now because she's like in the better relationship. They're selling their house. They're getting like good things are coming. And like for a moment, Vacation Shannon was coming out. I told everyone she was talking about planning the party, and I was like, yes, this is great. She's coming back. It's gonna be wonderful. And then the flash to next time, I'm like, oh, she can't catch a break with the party.
I
Damn
know.
it, she tries. Poor Shannon.
She said that details were everything when it comes to a party. She named a few things. What were some things that caught your attention at this party? And would you go to Shannon's 70s themed party?
So she didn't want it to be too disco, right? Like she's
No.
not going for the cheese ball 70s style, but I mean 70s is just cheese ball in general, and that's the fun.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a part of a theme. Yeah.
But she was trying to mix both worlds and do also like a rocker, hippie rocker, like free love man, like the pot station in the back and the beer bong over here. I'd go to that party.
I go to all the parties.
I'd go.
We all miss Woodstock. Let's do Shannon's party.
Heck yes. Anywhere where there's Vacation Shannon, I'm in for that.
I like how she starts off and she's like, "This is gonna be the party that's gonna be the most, most calm, and this is like the worst party
I
yet."
know. Well, I can't wait,
It
though.
outdoes it every year.
Oh,
Gosh.
and just how about that invitation to Vicki? Now,
Yes.
I kind of
need
thought,
that.
I mean, reading that, I was like, that's totally something I would do. The passive aggressive, like super like, so BTW, I know we're not going to be friends, but I'm not trying to be a jerk and I'm going to invite you to this party, so just get over it and come or not. I mean, I don't think that she was unjustified in doing that, but probably best that Tamra told her to rewrite it a little bit.
You know what? I like when I watch these reality shows, I literally look at all the details. She said that she sent her an email, right?
She said
But then
email.
she was saying
did say
text.
email.
Yeah, but then
at the
she
end of
sent
the
the second
convo.
one as a text message. So I felt like when I noticed that, I was like, maybe the first, I don't know, I felt like she softened the invite.
Like there was already an email.
There was
that
already an email
went.
because she said, she's like, I sent her an email, and then I was like, that's not an email, that's a text message.
Oh, she had to smooth it over with text, maybe.
I don't know. I'm into.
catch.
I'm always into these like little things on
Yeah.
TV.
Oh, Thomas.
The deets.
The deets for sure.
Wouldn't that be funny if she sent some very aggressive email and Tamra was like, really? Girl, you need to like tone it down.
And it wasn't on camera.
I don't know. If she had sent that email, then Tamra and Vicki would be having a conversation about the email that she got.
Yeah.
So, because we've seen that before in these Housewives where they have to read the email and all that.
I live for those.
Print out the email.
Yes. Yeah, but like you were
Bring
saying
it to the reunion.
laminated.
like you were
the
saying.
laminated printout.
It's in one of those binders that Vicky supposedly made
Oh
for
my
Brooke.
God. Yeah,
Lord.
there were a couple empty binders laying around.
Categorized by argument.
But you're right, Christy. She said, Shannon said that she opened up the email by saying, "I am not interested in the friendship we once had."
Shannon.
I don't know.
Shay.
Right, like,
But want to come over? Want to come over?
And like, couldn't you just email the Evite? Like,
Yeah.
come on. Do you
Yeah.
really have to
Not
explain
only
your
that.
one-on-one
Yes.
relationship? Like, just send the Evite.
And not
come
only
on.
that, on these shows, what they do is at the beginning of the week they get a schedule of what the social calendar is and who's doing what, basically. That's why they go on these vacations and they say, want to go to like Dubai? And they go to Dubai the next week because it's all preset. So, they might not know like, oh, this is a 70s themed party, but they'll be like, there's a party, it's Friday night, call time is 7 o'clock and wrap time is midnight, something like that, so this is not like something like an out of the blue email Vicki's gonna get like in the middle of the night, so whatever. But if you're on the computer like Vicki, maybe you can head over to care.com. Care.com is a sponsor we want to talk about real quick. And Care.com is the world's largest digital marketplace for finding and managing family care. There's a variety of stuff on this website. Using Care.com makes life simpler for families everywhere. At Care.com, you can find, book, and pay for care all in one place. At Care.com, you can find care for literally everyone in the family. There's dog walkers, housekeepers.
Nice.
Vicky needs this.
Yes, people that can take care of family members,
Yes.
you know, while you're at work or if
Two
you're
small
going
children.
away. Errand runners, senior care. So there's a lot of two small children.
Childcare.
Vicky, log on. I went on this website. I will say it's quite easy to use. There's 2 columns, basically. There's one for job seekers and then one for people that are looking to get service. So if you're looking to do this, you can sign up
that's
there.
nice.
Or if you're looking to get it, you can sign there. Very easy to use. And please, there's a 30% off discount for Care.com premium membership. That's a $15 credit when you pay towards the caregiver that you're going to use. You can apply that too. And that's all on their platform on care.com/buzz. Care.com/buzz when you subscribe. Care.com is a digital marketplace that provides access to tens of thousands of caregivers and provides access to tools that help you find the right caregiver. So there's even background checks. You can pay through the website. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do. They're listed as trusted and safe, and they give you peace of mind to be able to take advantage of Care.com.
nice.
So,
I'm not letting anyone near my fur baby without a background check. So thank you,
Right.
Care.com.
Yes.
they're legit.
Absolutely.
Care.com/buzz. Okay, let's talk a little bit more before we wrap the show because, well, actually, let's move on and get some news and gossip. I think we covered everything. We have a party to look forward to next week.
Yeah.
Do we?
Can't wait.
What's
Get
going
your
on?
roller skates out, people.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, I have so enjoyed having some real-time juicy interviews to share with you guys every week. And this week it is Miss Megan who's throwing shade all over the media. She said in an interview with People.com that she, quote, will never forgive Brooks, and she also called Miss Vicky a filthy liar.
Wow.
Yes, Vicky really getting it in the press these last few weeks
Yeah.
from all of the ladies. And apparently some of her friends are concerned about Vicky's new man. And there's kind of the jury's still out. Some of her friends and family love him. Others not so sure. His name is Steve Lodge. You guys have probably seen photos of he and Vicky all over her social media. He is a consultant at a public affairs firm and also a retired police officer. Pay no attention to the headlines that you've read. In accordance with that, those are old police officer things, and that happens to all the police officers. You know what I'm talking about. But he reportedly buys flowers for Vicky, pays for everything. He's affectionate. We know she wants that love tank
She
filled
needs
up.
that. Yes.
And most importantly, a lot of photos of him posing with Briana and her boys and her husband.
Good.
So if he's Brie approved, he's AfterBuzz approved, right, guys?
Thank God, because after Brooks, I don't even care who she's with. Just
Right?
let her be with
Somebody
someone,
amazing.
people.
Yes.
Let her be with someone.
Yes.
Yes. And meanwhile, Vicky is kind of defending her behavior on last week's episode regarding Briana. Remember, they made it look like she kind of hauled it out of there and went to work when Briana really needed her.
Yes.
Well, she's defending that this week and saying, well, that was the work of some kind of magical editing on Bravo's part. And really, there was a home health nurse there, and Vicky was going to leave Briana with this home health nurse, so it wasn't the kind of a situation that they led us to believe.
Yeah, and she also said that they switched off driving a little bit, but because remember we talked about why they drive, but apparently that's because Brianna gets very car sick, and so it's easier for her to drive than to be a passenger.
Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah, so it's all right, Vicky. We forgive you. It's cool.
Yeah.
Heather, meanwhile, is finally revealing what will set her off later in the season regarding Kelly. We've been hearing a lot of
I wanna
rumblings.
know. I really
Heather
wanna
and
know.
Kelly are going to get into it. What happens? It's maybe on the boat. Some of that teaser that we've seen. Allegedly, Kelly throws the old C word at Heather and calls her out. I go, yes.
Very classy, Kelly. Classy.
While I'm sure
With your
that will be
spaceship house.
that would be bleeped out, you all have that to look forward to. And Shannon is making some defenses as well as far as her family goes. I didn't catch this on last week's episode, but I guess her daughter Sophie was wearing quite a bit of heavy makeup in the scene where they were talking about the house, and she got a lot of backlash for that. And Shannon's saying, like, put the brakes on, everybody, hold up. That was for a play rehearsal. Her daughter was playing, I think, like the Cinderella's stepmother or the evil Snow White mother, one of those villains, and that's why she had the heavy makeup and said, her daughter, she doesn't really allow them to wear much makeup. So settle down,
People
everybody.
don't have better things things to do with their time.
Attack.
Don't come after,
Be
don't
upset
come
at a
after
little
people's
makeup.
kids.
Right?
Please.
Don't come after people's kids. You know,
Yeah.
we talk about these ladies because they're the real housewives, but we're not here to trash kids. No one should be doing that.
Yeah.
And even if they're not trashing, but just leave them alone.
And who cares?
Yeah.
Did no one play with makeup as a kid?
I was gonna say, if I didn't have a full face at 13, man, that's when it
both.
started.
You
Okay.
and me
I'm
both,
not
sister.
surprised.
Yeah.
And if you're like just on a Saturday, just playing, like, come on, please.
It's all right, especially if the cameras are gonna be there.
Well, yeah.
Shannon's also giving a little update as far as her home. Still not sold. The house that we've seen on the show, they are still in it. She is very frustrated. She said she'd looked for other houses and actually found other houses, and then their house doesn't sell. So they are still in that home and will be for the foreseeable future. And just one more super juicy, you guys. Are you ready to go kind of nutsy faking over this one?
Oh my god.
Remember last week we said Vicki was saying, oh, she and Tamra should get a spinoff. Well, Vicki, Adrienne Maloof, Gretchen Rossi, and Cynthia Bailey. So these are ladies from Beverly Hills, Orange County, and Atlanta. Were filming together for an upcoming Fox show.
Wow.
Last week. No word on what this is, you guys. I have scoured the internets. I don't have any details. If you have them, please reach out to me. We don't know what this was, but they were all fancied up, and we are going to
Nice.
see it on Fox at some point in
Wow.
time.
I wonder if it's a game show or something.
Something, or maybe they're being the judges,
That's
or
awesome.
It has to be
Yeah.
something. It has to be something that they're just themselves, like open-ended, because they're contracted elsewhere. So, and it's not like it's an NBCU property.
right.
Yeah,
So-
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
so it's a big surprise, and I will definitely keep you all posted on that. We know Vicki and Gretchen are friends now, so.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well, let's predict really
Your
quickly.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Let's talk about this party,
This party.
that's coming up.
I'm
because it
stressed
looks bad.
out
I
already.
am
This is-
already
this
having
is-
an anxiety attack.
I
We need
predict-
like brown paper bags over here.
I
It's not
predict
good.
that this is Kelly's outing of being a bitch.
Yes.
And this is going to be, it's going to be nowhere but down from here. I think she's like trying to play it nice and be the fun party one, and now we're
Yeah.
going to see who she really is.
I think our attention's going to be turned back to Shannon's husband once again, and
Oh
I'm
my
not sure
God.
that he's going to come off so well when he's defending himself at this
When I
party.
see a guy that close to a woman's face, I don't know
Don't
what these
like
guys
it.
are thinking. Let your wives handle the situation. You go over there, have a cocktail.
Yes.
And like,
Yes, Thomas.
why does he
yes.
have to be right in front of her like that? It gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
It does.
we predict anxiety for next season. He
must-
for
It's
next
a lot
week.
of it.
He
Yeah.
must be friends with Ken Todd getting involved.
Too much. Well, you know, I guess it's like when you're put in this situation, poor David has been put through the ringer too with all of this.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting to see his take on it, because really, I just really feel like this is not a personal fight between Vicki and the Bedores, but because Shannon has interpreted all of this as personal to her, David's now getting involved in this. Like, the whole thing is a little crazy.
Yeah.
For them both to be being so mean to Vicki, I'm not sure. We'll have to see it next week.
Yes,
But
next week for sure. We'll
Can't
have it all
wait.
for you. Yes, looking forward to it. In the meantime, you can keep up with us and support us on all of our endeavors by following us on social media. Blake, where can we find you? What's
you
up?
can. Yes, that's me, Blake V. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Blake V Media.
You guys can follow me at Thomas Orlina on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yes, please snap with me on all social media. It's at Christy Reports, and please also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Christy Reports.
And you guys can find me over on Twitter at Grants__Rants. And you can find me on my podcast, Grants Rants Hollywood Talk. A new episode went up today.
Woo!
That'll do it for us for the Real Housewives of OC. We'll be back with the 70s party next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.